Keith, you live in the most expensive part of Nicaragua.
I do.
What is your rent per month?
I paid, well, my rent is actually 220 a month, but
So today we're heading down to the beautiful country of Nicaragua and with my new friend Keith Erik Starkey. Keith, thanks for doing the podcast, buddy.
hey, glad to do it. Glad to share the information that I have. Glad to meet you. And
Yeah.
this is my actual first podcast, like officially like this. I've done Zoom calls with people and family and friends in the United States and Canada, but this is the first time I've actually got to share some information and be hopefully useful for
Yeah.
some people. Give the information that might be needed to make decisions and
Figure out if Nicaragua is right for them. Well, that's why I appreciate you coming on, taking the time out of your day to do this because the information is helpful. There are a lot of people that are looking to leave the U.S. and leave Canada, even the U.K. Because of the high cost of living, and they're looking at places like Central America and Nicaragua. So, yeah, thanks for doing this. So
no,
let's
no
start
worries.
out.
Yeah, like right now, like I said, I'm right in the middle of feeding time for the puppies, and
Yeah, what a beauty. Is That's a beauty. So tell us a little bit of backstory about you, Keith, about, who you are, where you're from, how you chose and selected Nicaragua to retire in, and you have this beautiful little puppy there. Tell a little bit about also what you do down there.
well, real quick, just about him, so I can kind of finish off with his bottle. But this little guy was found in a garbage bag with his sister on the beach on Madeiras, which is really close to us, and a beautiful surfing spot. And two surfers found him, found them
Yeah.
because the bag was moving on the beach. And yeah, they brought him into us. She died yesterday, his sister, Magdalena. And the little boy on my street, he's about 5 years old. I told him, if if you got a favorite person in your world, you tell me who it is. And he said Cristiano Ronaldo. So this is Tiano. His real name is Cristiano, but we call him Tiano.
Piano,
He is
nice.
basically just under 6 weeks old, and yeah,
What a
yeah, he
cutie.
survived and she didn't.
What a
And
cutie.
this is kind of what I do. So getting back to the question of like why I chose Nicaragua,
Yeah.
you know, I still have a African sulcata. He's 14 years old and weighs 80 pounds.
Hmm.
I moved here with two dogs, two different dogs that I have now. Both of them now are buried here in Nicaragua. So finding a place to live in the United States on my disability to pay rent that would allow a tortoise and two dogs was virtually impossible on the income that I get. And so I talked to my family and talked to some friends, and they were like, "Have you ever thought about Central America? Maybe you should go to like El Salvador or Belize. Check out some of those Central American countries." And so I'm from Hawaii. I was born in the United States, grew up in Puerto Rico, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. But after living in Hawaii, and my house in 2018 was covered in lava from the eruption from Kilauea, that Nicaragua has the most volcanoes, the biggest lake in basically all of the Americas. It's got the Pacific Ocean, it's got the Caribbean. We've got we live in God's hands here. There's earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunami, potentials for tsunamis, and the people here, they're all about love. They're all about friendships. They're all about God. They're all about making. You could not be surrounded by a more beautiful people living in
Hmm.
Nicaragua. 99% of the people here, they want to help you understand Spanish. If you're making an effort, they want to help you.
Yeah.
If you need help figuring out what it is you need, they'll send you to the right people.
Hmm.
And I lived all over Central America, Nicaragua before I chose San Juan del Sur. And my good friend Julia Hoffman up in Marigalpa, San Ramon, seeing the mountains, seeing the orchids, seeing the rainfalls and the waterfalls, and eventually people told me, you're best suited for San Juan del Sur. You're a surfer type, you're a massage therapist, you love animals, and San Juan del Sur, it's close to the beach. It's expensive here. Basically, my joke or my little saying is, you can get to Nicaragua from here, but San Juan del Sur is not Nicaragua. It's an island inside the country. Like Washington, D.C. is basically an entity inside the United States. San Juan del Sur is the same.
Okay.
80% of the time, you don't need to speak Spanish. The people that run the stores, they speak enough English. And of course, it's an expat town and a surfer town. And it's very transient with the people who come through here. Like I said, Portugal, England, Netherlands, Canada, so many countries are in Nicaragua all at once, and are in San Juan del Sur just for the surfing. And we've got beautiful, I mean, Remanzo, Cocoa Beach, Mahigual. I mean, there's so many beaches so close to San Juan del Sur that take like 15 minutes to get there. And you got left breaks, right breaks, and hardly anybody surfing. This is not Hawaii where I'm from, where you're competing for every wave just to get a chance to, to paddle in. You got 9 other people around you ready to beat you into it.
Right.
Yeah, here it's super casual. And living here, like I said, it's probably the most expensive place in all of Nicaragua to live. Probably by 20%.
Wow.
A beer here at a bar basically is between 60 and 70 Cordoba, where everywhere else in the country it's 35 or 40.
What is that? 60 to 70 Cordoba in USD?
So 100 Cordobas is about $3.60.
Okay.
So 60 Cordoba is about a buck. Just
About
around a buck.
$1.50, I would say.
$1.50. Yeah, $1.50.
Okay. So for a beer, you can get a beer in the most expensive area of Nicaragua for about $1.50.
Yeah, and a lot of restaurants and bars, they have their happy hour for 40 Cordobas.
Yeah.
So that makes it right.
Even better, yeah.
And when you live here long enough, like in my phone, I've got on my calendar, Thursday is all day happy hour at the Hip. Live music at Pane Nostro, the Italian restaurant down my street. Their beers are 60, 70 Cordobas a piece, but
yeah,
you got beautiful live music. 4 different bands every Thursday, sometimes even a special debut on Tuesdays. There's Tuani's, places like that have, you just go and buy one beer and you've got live music all night long.
Nice. So there's your entertainment right there. That's fantastic.
And this is a beach town, like I said, a surf town. And I'm from Pahoa, Hawaii, which is also a surf town. But the live music here, everybody's competing to try to get. We're in low season right now. We're in the rainy season. Hurricane season is, we've had the most rain this year than we've had in almost 10 years. With all the hurricanes and Sarah that just passed over us. It decimated most of Nicaragua, most of Honduras, and yeah, we're still recovering. And the restaurants here, they got local live bands, Nicaraguans playing Nica music and 60s and 70s music. You got there's quite the realm of things to do that don't cost anything except for maybe the cost of one beer.
Yeah.
No cover fees, no entry fees, no.
It sounds like a really ideal place in Nicaragua to live, the San Juan del Sur. What are do you find people your age that are retiring there or moving there, or is it mostly younger surfer type people?
No, so the younger surfer types, they're coming through. A lot of them are doing online work.
Mhm.
drop shipping and
Yeah.
doing all the new trends that are coming out. And they work on their computers for 2 or 3 hours a day, and then they get the shuttle for $10 from like Casa Oro to any beach that you want to go to for 10 or 15 bucks.
Are you thinking about moving abroad, planning to start a business, or perhaps help others relocate just like you're doing? You're going to need a professional website. That's where Kazi.com comes in. I've worked with Kazi.com for over 5 years. They've built me multiple websites, including AdventureFreaks.com. You can take a look at the website to view their work. And here's why I keep choosing them. Expertise you can trust. They can create any type of website you need, tailored to your vision, with immense knowledge and skill. They provide outstanding support. Their team goes above and beyond to help and guide you every step of the way. And the incredible value, the cost. It's just a fraction of what you'd pay elsewhere without sacrificing quality. They even offer a free consultation to help you get started. So to take the next step, you can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can click the link in the description below to schedule your free consultation. If you mention Adventure Freaks, they'll give you an additional 10% off. Now let's get back to the video.
I'm trying to find something, us in our 50s, mid 50s, trying to get a hold of that technology and trying to figure it out. And without a VPN, I mean, I still don't have any idea how to get a VPN hooked up to my computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be doing some of that too. But, I do massage therapy here for really cheap. I've been a massage therapist for 25 years. So I offer Hawaiian Lomi Lomi. I do dog training because animals are like my life here.
Yeah.
And
Tiano's lucky.
His sister Magdalena, she was so beautiful. And to be thrown in a garbage bag, it happens so often here.
Yeah.
I work for the SOS animal shelter here. Please check them out online, SOS. They are one of the only animal shelters in all of southern Nicaragua that are doing what they do for the animals. I mean, I'm really proud to be a part of such an organization that, and this is, like I said, this is my 28th foster in 2.5 years. And only one failed foster.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great, Keith. Yeah, we'll definitely put that in the description. All right. Well, let's dive into some of these questions that we have. So
Yeah, sure.
for the viewers watching, the retirees that are thinking of moving to Nicaragua, they need to get residency or they need to get a visa. What can you share about that process? And is there a minimum income requirement that you're aware of that you have to show a certain amount in your
Yeah, so
pension?
it's a little bit of a circus.
Okay.
So you need to have your passport, of course. I mean, that's for sure. But I'll tell you, 80% of the people that I know just do border runs. We
Okay.
are 35, 40 minutes away from Costa Rica here in San Juan del Sur.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just find it a lot easier not to get residency and just do their border run, get their passport stamped, and come back. It takes between 4 and 6 hours to do the whole process, including the drive there and the drive back. But me, with the animals, I can't stay gone that long.
Right.
So I chose to get my residency to make sure that, I didn't have to leave puppies or kittens, whatever I was taking care of. And it varies, $800 to $1,200 depending on the attorney that you find. And it's basically getting your birth certificate apostilled,
Right.
going through, like the police, make sure you have no records or anything like that. Interpol, getting your thing stamped. Managua twice in the beginning. It's living here in San Juan. It's about a 2-hour drive to Managua, the capital of Nicaragua. But when you find a really good attorney, like I have Patricia Sanchez, she speaks a little bit of English, and she does it because she wants people to live happily. She's not trying to rake anybody over the coals, make a lot of money. She just wants people to get their stuff done. And for me, it basically was 3 months from beginning to end, getting everything from the United States, getting my Interpol, getting my birth certificate apostilled, but it's not a hard process. But that's really if you really want to stay here.
Yeah.
For the most part, a border run, like I said, Costa Rica is a 45-minute drive if you do the speed limit, which
Yeah. Right. And a lot, I think younger people choose that option because they're not really looking to to move to a particular country. They're still trying to figure out who they are, where they want to be. But for the retirees, so the tourist, so the visa that you're on, you need to show 800 to 1200 per month of an income, correct?
Well, to get your residency, you
Yeah.
need $1,200 is the minimum.
Minimum income requirement. Okay.
Yeah.
1200.
And
Okay.
that will get you your residency card.
Okay. Do you know what kind of visa you have?
Well, right now I have a permanent. My residency is permanent.
Is it a
I
retirement visa or is it a
Yeah, I'm on a pensioners visa.
okay.
And so basically every 6 months now I go to Revis, which is just the next town over. And we're in the Department of Revis, instead of
Mhm.
like counties or parishes like in the United States, we have departments. So we're Nicaragua or San Juan del Sur is in the Department of Revis. And they just switched that over, which is great because now we don't have to go all the way to Managua.
Yeah.
I can just go to Revis, get my residency renewed for another 6 months. No border runs, no
Nice.
paying for taxis, standing in line for hours behind tourists on their buses, and
That's great. Well, good. That's good information. And then for the tourist runs, basically for the viewers, I'm just going to say, you could what, stay for 90 days in Nicaragua?
yeah, in I think it's called the something four, but between if you fly into Guatemala, that's where your 90 days starts. Whether you
Okay.
go to Honduras, El Salvador, or Nicaragua,
Okay.
your 90-day visa starts in the country that you came into.
I see.
So it's not just Nicaragua. So as soon as you pass the border, you don't get another 90 days. It's all considered the same 90 days
Mhm.
for all of those countries.
And then what happens for the border runs is people they cross the border into another Central American country. They get it
So
stamped,
yeah,
you're outside, and then they come back into Nicaragua, they stamp it again, and you're renewed for another
right.
90.
So excluding Belize, so Mexico is one of the countries you can go into. So you've got Kauai. Stop, por favor. So you can't just go like from Nicaragua to Honduras to get your passport stamped.
I
That
see.
doesn't change your 90 days. But
Okay.
Costa Rica is not included in that. So you have to Costa Rica and Mexico are your southern and your northern exits to get your passport renewed.
Interesting. Okay. I did not know that. That's great information. So you have to go to, for you, you have to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, well,
Um,
that's the easiest, yeah, for sure.
it's
But
the easiest.
I don't have to go anywhere
Well, you
now.
don't have to do it because you got the pensioners visa, which is the way to stay permanently there. Okay,
Yeah,
great. Good information. Okay, so let's dive into rent. So here's the fun thing. Keith, you live in the most expensive part of Nicaragua.
I do.
What is your rent per month?
I paid. Well, my rent is actually 220 a month, but that was supposed to that was excluding utilities. So I told my landlady, I was like, you know what? I'll be happy to give you $250 a month if I don't see a bill. I don't want to see electric bill. I don't want to see a water bill. I want to be able to, if I want to move out, I don't want something lagging over me. And she basically gasped, a tear rolled up in her eye, and she's like, sold. And so I've lived here for now 2.5 years in the same apartment,
Wow.
paying 250.
And you have a one bedroom, right?
I have a one-bedroom apartment, which my one bedroom, the bedroom I use as storage,
Hmm.
and I sleep in the living room. The
Hmm.
breeze flows through, and because I foster so many animals and many of them are puppies or kittens,
Yeah.
it's easier to be out here where I can hear them, keep an eye on them, and get up real early if I need to. And the bedroom is kind of like a coffin. Once you fall asleep in there, there's no light coming in. I don't know whether
Yes.
it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or did I sleep in until 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, so let me ask you this. At that amount of money, you're paying 250, that includes utilities, you negotiated that. That's fantastic. But okay, so you're in this beach town. You're in this kind of tourist beach town. Can, I mean, to pay 250, can you walk to the beach from there?
8 minutes, eight
Can
minute
you
walk. 12 minutes is when I'm taking the puppies with me, just because we got to do little bathroom stops along the way and sniffs.
Okay. So how about the main city hub? Do you need a
Okay, so
vehicle?
I am 2 blocks up from Central Park and the main church. Uh, 3 blocks up from the Central Market on my street. So, and I live on Gaspar Garcia La Ventana, which is tucked up in the mountains on the beach. So, like Tuani's, one of the big restaurants that we have here, they have live music all the time, bands, concerts, things going on. I don't hear a thing. It hits the mountain and goes right back out into the ocean.
Wow.
Down at Central Park at the Central Church, they have celebrate. Nicaragua knows how to celebrate. Let me tell you, they
Yeah.
at least twice a month, some streets getting closed off. We've got a parade. We've got you know the kids playing in the bands, marching down the street. Um, San Juan del Sur has such a cultural diversity that if you're
Hmm.
from Canada, they celebrate Boxing Day. If you're America, they celebrate Halloween, Christmas. If you're from the Netherlands, they'll celebrate uh, somebody somewhere, something is going to be celebrating your holiday for your country
Hmm. So it's a
just for
very,
inclusion.
yeah, it's a very inclusive, welcoming
Yeah,
country,
just
it
for
sounds like.
inclusion. Exactly.
Yeah, that's very cool. So you pay in the most expensive part of Nicaragua. You're paying 250. That includes utilities, and you don't need a vehicle. You can walk to the beach, you can walk to town, you can walk. Do you have a vehicle?
I drove here from the United States with 2 dogs and a tortoise,
Hmm.
which, everyone was like, you're never going to even make it past the Mexican border. I had no problems getting all the way here. But to have a car older than 15 years old, you can't register it here in Nicaragua. My car is a
Oh.
2005.
Yeah.
So basically, it's parked on a friend's property right now, illegal as hell.
Hmm.
I haven't had the tip uh, renewed in over a year.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm just trying to sell it for parts or whatever. But yeah,
Hmm.
I bought a cheap car. It was 2 grand. Drove it across the United States. Saw all my friends before I left, from Washington to Florida, Texas, California, Georgia, and then here. So I think I got my money's worth out of the
Hmm.
car.
Yeah. Wow.
And but as far as like rent goes, just right next to me, the apartments that are right next to me, 1 block down, are $500 a month for a 1 bedroom. Air
Wow.
conditioning, maid service, um, washing machine and dryer.
Hmm.
I can live pretty simply. I wash one surf shorts at a time, one shirt at a time.
Yeah.
You know, in my sink.
Can you
So
see
it
the
all
beach?
depends on what you really want. A lot of retirees, they've lived a whole life of job, working, living in a home that they built themselves, raised kids in. They want a pool, they want air conditioning, they want a maid service. They don't want to deal. Me, that's not my life. So I can
Yeah.
live pretty simply. But and
Can
then
you?
of course a 3 bedroom house, maybe 500-600 bucks a month for a 3 bedroom house.
Okay.
I mean, it's still really, really great prices.
Yeah. That is, and so all the amenities you're looking at about 500 for uh do those apartments, and does your apartment, can you see the beach from where you're at? Do you have a view?
No, I don't have a view. I live kind of in the middle of a jungle. The monkeys pass between the trees around my house.
Wow.
I'm up on the side of the mountain, or basically a volcanic cinder cone from way back. And yeah, monkeys, opossums, iguanas, they choose this kind of area because it's not in town. And like
Yeah.
I said, I'm only 2 blocks from central San Juan,
Yeah.
and then another block to the beach.
Keith, do you ever do you see sloth there as well?
Not so many sloths down. We're a little bit close to the beach for sloths.
Yeah.
That's more like San Ramon, Marigalpa,
Okay.
Somoto, the more northern part of Nicaragua.
Do you ever have any of the monkeys approach you and try to, like jump on you
We,
or
we
anything?
we
Or?
we have the howler monkeys,
Yeah.
and no, they prefer to stay up in the trees and munch. But yeah, they don't mind defecating down on your stuff or throwing their food into your property. But they won't come down. Even if you offered food, they're pretty protective of their babies, and they're always. I'm not sure what a pack of monkeys is called, a troop. I think it's called a troop.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty tight knit, and every morning about 5 o'clock, that's when they start calling each other. Hey, you okay over there? Hey, you okay over there? So that's my alarm clock. Are
Yeah.
the the howler
That's
monkeys?
that's awesome. So, okay, so rents in this area are very, very affordable. And you're
But
saying
the most expensive in all of San
and
Juan
it's
or
the
all of
most
Nicaragua.
all of Nicaragua. So it's really unbelievable that you can live next to the beach, walk down to the beach, go surfing, and you can find places for 200, 250 bucks. Um, and that's mine. Have you looked into what the real estate costs if somebody wanted to buy one of those condos or?
I haven't really looked into all that. When I lost my home in Hawaii,
Hmm.
that was kind of like my last. I was like, what? I put everything into that house. I'm just gonna rent for the rest of my life, unless something major changes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe someday, but I'm content.
Yeah.
When you walk around, you could buy 2 or 3 manzanas, which are similar to acres, 160,000 with a house on it.
Hmm.
Some
Okay.
places go. I mean, of course, it depends on who's selling it. If a Northern American, Canadian, or the United States is selling it, it's usually twice as expensive
Sure.
as if a Nicaraguan selling it. You
Right.
know, so it depends on the property, but there's some really great deals still.
Hmm.
2 or 3 acres for 69,000.
Hmm.
Just a couple miles out the road. You know, and right now they're putting in the new express. The I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's basically the coastal highway for Central America,
Okay.
and it will go through Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador,
Hmm.
and it'll be the new uh, Pan American highway, but on the southern side of Central America.
Oh, very
So
nice.
people who have bought properties out there right now, they're jumping up and down because property values are just going to go soaring. But
Sure.
we do not want to turn Nicaragua into Costa Rica. We do not want to turn Nicaragua into California. We do not want to turn it into Florida. And so a lot of people are really being standoffish about the whole progress, and that's not what this country is about. I'm not like a super religious person or anything like that. I am spiritual, but here, God, family, friends, togetherness, that is what they're celebrating. Those are fireworks right now. Uh, like I said, I don't know what the celebration is, but it's all the time.
That's see, that's fun. You're living in a place that's so much fun. And I think that, you just touched on, it's like there's so much division and polarization right now in the United States and Canada that people are looking to feel connected again and to experience a sense of community that's been lost up here, and I think that's why there's
Nicaragua.
such yeah, so I mean, it's really interesting that you're pointing that out because a lot of people that go down to Central America or South America, even Mexico, they do start to feel a sense of connection again and community
Well, and
again.
I've been missing that myself. So even here in San Juan, if you go on Facebook and go to San Juan uh, Drum and Dance Circle, I'm starting that. I'm starting the first ecstatic dance and drum circles here. We've been doing them on the full
Nice.
moon so far, but it hasn't been here, so I miss it. So I've started doing that. Just yesterday, I started a page for the street dogs of Nicaragua, so we can start identifying them. Getting to know their names and stop stigmatizing them because people throw rocks, sticks, shoot them away. But I
Yeah.
figured if people start knowing their names, who their owners were, who had owners, who doesn't have owners. But yeah, there's a lot that could be brought here
Hmm.
if you're not trying to make money. You know,
Yeah.
hula hoop classes, fire dancing. We have a huge, beautiful beach where bonfires are welcome. We get a lot of debris coming down the rivers during, especially the rainy season,
Hmm.
and people just pile it up, burn it. And so I was like, let's utilize this. Let's turn this into a drum circle. Let's turn these into static dances and really get a good fire going. And so now we're on our fourth one for December.
Hmm.
We don't know we're going to hold it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's either going to be the Palms Beach Bar and Grill, or the 13th Floor Rock Bar.
Well, all right. Well, great. Well, thanks for all that info about that. And so it sounds like even real estate is very affordable. Do they sell condos down there? Do they have
Yeah, so
smaller apartments?
Pelican Eyes, which is right like the next community up from me. They've got condos, 2 and 3 bedroom, Adobe style condos. Then there's Big Sky Ranch, which has properties, really affordable properties, but build your own.
Yeah.
Um, and these are a lot of gated communities. So there's a security guard out front,
Okay.
swimming pools. The option goes from like what I'm living in for just basic commodities to live and have life and be part of it, or you can, cater to that lifestyle that you think you need,
Right.
with air conditioning and maid service and a pool and
Do you know what those condos are going for if there's when they're selling when they're
well, I know
prices?
they run around $500 or $600 a month for
Okay. For
like a one
rent.
bedroom, 2 bedroom condo up there.
Okay.
But you know, I walk by the boards in front of the realty places on the way to the beach. I kind of take a glance, but usually I see 170,000 for something, and I'm like, yeah, and I just keep on walking. And
Right.
but 170 though, still that's really nothing comparatively speaking for getting a
Yeah.
couple of acres with a
Right.
house on it. But that's out of my price range.
Well, especially where you're from, Hawaii. I mean, that's a bargain. Acres in a house for 160, 170,000. Yeah, it's unbelievable, the pricing. Let's dive into groceries. So where do you go shopping down there? And what do you think you budget per month to give the viewers an idea what they need to budget for groceries per
Well, let
month?
me tell you how much my diet has changed. When I moved to Nicaragua, I weighed about 200 pounds. I weigh 168, 170 now, and mm, I work out every day. But there's
Hmm.
no fast food restaurants here.
Hmm.
I eat street food from the street vendors. 120 Cordobas for half a chicken, a bag of tajada, which is fried plantains, and coleslaw salad. For 120 Cordobas, I could go to the buffet, which is 100 Cordobas for 4 options. Meat, noodles, rice, pico de gallo, or salad. Uh, Groceries, if you want to cook at home, which I rarely do, my apartment's so small. If I cook even eggs in the morning, which is my main thing, my apartment stays hot for another 2 hours. So, but groceries, if I went to the Ahora Now, which is a new grocery store that just opened up here in San Juan. If I went and spent 3,000 Cordobas, which is basically 60, $80,
Hmm.
that's more than 2 weeks worth of food.
Okay. So you're doing about 150, $160 a month.
I would say $200 a month in grocery food,
Okay.
just because I buy a lot of higado for the puppies, chicken hearts, chicken liver, menudo, the chicken heads and legs.
So
But
that's you're including the puppies too. How many dogs do you have that you feed?
well, right now I just have two, but on
Okay.
average it could be up to 12.
Right. Okay. So you're paying 200 a month to cover you and the dogs that you take care of
Yep, or kittens. Yep.
or kittens. Okay. All right. So I would say probably you think it's fair to say that somebody could get by on 150 a month, a single retiree down there?
Yeah, if you ate at the buffet, went to the central market and bought your fruit and vegetables, and ate bananas and watermelon, stuff like that, it's super cheap.
The
You know,
good
and
food anyway, the good healthy food.
yeah, exactly.
And then
Like
we can all get as lean and as fit as you. We get
which I
that.
never thought was going to happen again at my age. I figured the 200-pound weight call was going to stick around, but
Heath, you're in your prime, man. You're in your prime. You look
well,
good.
let
You
me tell
take care of
you,
yourself.
here's just a few. So my first major weight loss was at Laguna de Apoyo, the first place I lived when I moved here, and I got a parasite, and I
I'll do
was
it.
sick as a dog for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and that was my first 10, 12 pounds was gone in that 2 weeks.
Yes.
I mean, that was the sickest I've been in like forever.
How did you find out you got a parasite?
Well, I eventually had to go to the hospital. I went to the emergency room,
Okay.
and it cost me $20 for emergency room, all the medicine that I needed. But that was the emergency room.
Yeah.
If you go basically to the emergency room here in San Juan del Sur, it's free. The healthcare here is free
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
expats,
We're gonna
for
touch on
tourists.
that in a second. I'm curious to know what kind of tests did they have to do to identify the parasite, and then what did they give you to
So basically, that $20 went to the blood test. So
okay.
they drew blood and checked out my what was running through me and found out I had parasite or not parasites, but like an amoeba or whatever.
How long did you have to wait to get the blood results?
An hour.
Okay, so you stayed there. They actually tested and found out there is a parasite the same day.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to wait for several days from a lab like you do in the US to
No, it's all
figure
done
out
right
that they'll
there.
tell you the same day.
Yep.
Okay, then what did they do? What did they give you? An antibiotic to take care of that?
Yeah, yeah. So they have the pharmacy right there in the hospitals. Even the one here in San Juan del Sur, they'll give you the first medication for free, then the prescription if you need to continue taking it,
Hmm.
which you have to go to the pharmacy, yeah, and
Okay.
buy. But
Is that what it was? Was an antibiotic? Do you know what kind of medication it was?
no, it was the one they like banned in the United States. It was
You know, I'm interested in this because when I was in the Amazon years ago, I picked up a parasite and I didn't know I had a parasite. I actually went to the hospital in the Amazon and they just said, "Oh, you're dehydrated, this, that, everything checked out." They checked me for malaria, dengue.
ivermectin. They gave me ivermectin and
Wow.
what was the other one? Which basically is 6 Cordovas a pill.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Six
And how many
six
times
Cordova.
how and it got rid of it within 2 weeks?
5 days.
5 days. Wow. So they know because a lot of people down there do pick up parasites. It's a thing in
Yeah,
Central and South America.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I carried mine for like 2 months, 3 months, and I lost a tremendous amount of weight too. I was just like, wow, if you ever want to lose weight, get a parasite
Yeah, that's exactly
because you're
it.
never hungry anymore. You're just not
Yeah,
hungry.
get an amoeba,
Right.
lose it from both ends for a week, and yeah, but it never comes back.
It's great. Let's jump into, you mentioned restaurants and you were talking about you could go to a buffet and pay 100 Cordobas, or you could do street food for like 120 Cordobas. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, just right one block down from my house, she charges 120 for a half a chicken, but she bones hers. Tajada, which is a fried plantain and coleslaw. It
Hmm.
just comes in a bag. A little bit further down, she charges 150, but it comes with rice and beans, a salad, and it's a to-go box. Where most of
Hmm.
the time it's in a bag. They just throw everything in the bag. The coleslaw on top of the plantains on top of and your chicken on top of that. And that's pork, chicken, or beef, all the same price.
And you
Um,
and you get
then
all
there's
of that for 120 Cordobas.
yeah, yeah,
And 120 Cordobas today is $3.27. So that is for you get chicken and rice and plantains and a little slaw, a little salad,
yep.
all that for
Yeah, and
$3
then
basically.
there's the restaurants, not to plug anybody, but like the Hip, they have everyday specials, $5 salads, $6 wings, plus dollar drink, dollar beer, dollar rum,
Hmm.
you know,
Okay.
two drinks and a salad or a hamburger for $7,
Yeah.
$8.
Wow.
Restaurants like Pie Nostro got the two slices of pizza and a beer for 200 Cordobas.
Yeah.
You once you live here, you kind of learn where to go. But most of the
Yeah.
restaurants, like a hamburger on the beach, on one of the beachfront restaurants, 380 Cordobas or whatever. You're like, I am not paying $12 for a hamburger that's this big,
Right.
But
Yeah.
they do have lobster, crab, and shrimp, and that's decently priced because this is a fishing harbor. This is a fishing town. That's what San Juan was based on,
Hmm.
was fishing originally. Now it's surfing, of course, and tourism. But
I'm guessing they probably barbecue a lot of that fish down there and give you some rice and beans and plantains. Do they do
and
that?
ceviche, the ceviche here,
Mm.
oh,
Good stuff.
Cameroon, mahi mahi. I use the Hawaiian fish name still, but yeah, tuna,
Name it.
swordfish.
So if
You
you
know,
get one of those meals, if you get a fish dinner, if you go and say, I want a lunch, I want to get some fish and whatever how much are you going to pay for something like that?
depending, maybe 280 Cordovas
Okay.
and again, depends on the restaurant because some are like beachfront with, tablecloths, and then some are just thatched roofs with wooden chairs, and never the same server 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
turnover is pretty, but the food is always really good. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not been one restaurant here where you go in and you're like, unless they're trying to make American food, expectations of like what a hamburger is or what, culture shock is the biggest thing moving down here.
Yeah.
You know, thinking that you're going to get the same thing that you were able to get in the United States or in Canada, and
It's not, doesn't
it's not
happen.
happening.
No, sure.
That,
I used to spend a lot of time in Venezuela years ago, and just hang out on the beach, and I could get, somebody to start grilling up fresh fish that they just caught that morning. They'd give me a meal. I'd get some rice with it. I'd get some salad with it, plantains, and a nice fresh red snapper, whatever they'd show you. You pick, and then I'd say, hey, give me a beer too. I'll take a beer. And I'd be sitting there on the beach eating this magnificent meal with fresh fish, and all in, I'd pay $2.50. All in
yeah,
with the beer.
San Juan del Sur is the most expensive town in all
Hmm.
of Nicaragua. So the same meals that I'm telling you, the prices here, if you were just to go up to Pochumil, which is like the next beach town about 2 hours away from us,
Hmm.
half the price.
Hmm.
No gringos, maybe one third the gringos that we have here. And I'm using that because I am one,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
so there are beautiful places in Nicaragua to live. San Juan, again, because I'm a massage therapist and, my talents can actually still make money here.
Hmm.
But I kind of chose San Juan, and but I would much rather live in Matagalpa but there's no, you get from one place to another, you need a car.
Yeah.
The bus ride is going to be an hour to get from one place to another and then back again with your groceries. But it's mountainous. There's orchids growing in the trees. There's sloths hanging down. The potential for a mountain panther, or you know,
Wow.
Nicaragua still got some really beautiful places to go. And Somoto Canyon, all the way north of us.
Hmm.
If I had a chance to live in Somoto Canyon, it's the Grand Canyon of Central America. It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my whole Central American adventure set yet.
Yeah. That's awesome. I've seen some imagery of that. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
Keith, let's move on to entertainment. So it sounds to me like you've already touched on this. There's a lot of free entertainment. You go grab a beer and listen to live music all night long. What do people do for entertainment? What else do they do for entertainment? You're in a surfing community. Obviously, people surf. They probably do some diving, scuba diving, I'm guessing. But let me know, what do people do in this particular part of
well, there's a
Nicaragua
lot
for
of
entertainment?
great excursions.
Hmm.
So they've got like the turtle release down at the sea turtle sanctuary.
Okay.
There's, it depends on what you want as entertainment. But every night in San Juan del Sur, somewhere, someplace has got live music going, and basically there's no cover charge unless it's Semana Santa or some huge celebration that's happening. Then there might be a cover charge, but
Okay.
live music is always an option. And then people like it, Pani Nostro. We have Uno competitions, and you know there's uh, open mic night at the Cerveceria where you can come in, sing your own songs, play your own music, recite poetry, whatever.
Wow.
It just depends on what you want, but that's every week on the same day. Every restaurant is pretty much dedicated itself to making sure that 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 day is the day for that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Okay. So it sounds like most of what people do for entertainment is free there.
Yep, for the most part.
Mhm.
Again, like Casa Oro and a lot of the other hotels and hostels, they offer shuttles to take you to Madeiras or the other beaches which have like Hush, the Tree Casa, places like that. They've got water slides, and Hush has got like the most beautiful view, great music venues, and the menu is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, shuttle costs $10 or $20 to take you all the way out and back. Usually you can get and rent a surfboard in that cost to go surfing during the day. Whale
Mm-hmm.
watches, sunset cruises. San Juan pretty much offers fishing charters,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all totally reasonable prices.
All right, let's dive into getting around. It sounds like mostly where you're at, people can walk everywhere. Do they have a bus system or transportation system? And
One
it,
of the most efficient I have ever seen. So of course it's called a chicken bus,
yes.
and it runs about every 20 minutes to 30 minutes to Rivas,
Okay.
or to the border at Costa Rica. It costs 40 Cordobas, 50 Cordobas to get from here to Rivas. And then a transfer all the way to Managua is like 120 Cordobas total.
Okay.
So for $4, $3, you can get all the way from here to the capital of Nicaragua for under $4.
And how far is that from you?
2.5, 3 hours.
2.5, 3 hour bus ride. So if you're just doing local trips on the bus from one location to the next, just getting around, what do people typically pay if they have to
So
show?
I bet you can probably get to every city in Nicaragua on a bus for under $20, and see the whole country.
So it's very affordable. And then would you say, Keith, that most people
Not
that
It's a
live,
very affordable. I wouldn't necessarily say comfortable.
sure,
Bring a seat cushion with you,
yeah,
and ear pods, because you're gonna have people standing here with their butt right in your face. You're gonna have somebody with a chicken or a monkey or a lizard I
yeah,
mean, they call it the chicken bus for a reason. There's always going to be a little bit something odd on that bus but it's worth it. I mean, to see the
hey,
diversity, and yeah, it's
that's why the channel is called Adventure Freaks. You got to be an adventure freak to really embrace that and enjoy it.
and don't be afraid. People, my whole family was telling me, "Oh, don't go down. You're gonna get killed down there. Someone's gonna murder you. You're gonna die." And I'm like, I would rather die surfing down a volcano or on the beach in Nicaragua in Central America than on my couch of a heart attack watching NBC News or
Right.
Dallas or whatever.
Exactly.
I mean, that we
Exactly. But the last thing we have is the healthcare. So for the viewers that are thinking about moving down there, potentially living down there or retiring down there, they're always interested in what the healthcare is like. Do they have a public healthcare system? What's your thoughts
so
on the
it's free.
quality?
So
It is
say
free.
you break your arm, break a finger, you drive a nail through your arm or whatever, doing some home repairs. You go to the emergency hospital. That care is completely free. So back to this dog bite, the surgery, the anesthetic, the stitches, free. Then it got infected, so I went and
Mm.
saw a specialist. It cost me 700 Cordobas, $20, to get the antibiotics, to have the professional look at it. And then you have your deeper issues like maybe insulin or heart attack or whatever. But they've got the VA hospitals, they've got and it's still super inexpensive. I mean, compared to dentistry work, an abscess or tooth removal, maybe $100.
Hmm.
Nowhere near the 500 or whatever for anesthesia. The
Yeah.
Well worth looking into. And depending on what area you're thinking about in Central America, whether it's Nicaragua or you know Honduras or Guatemala or Belize, or most of the hospitals are not even a tenth of what you'd be charged for in the United States.
Keith, can anybody that moves down there access this public health care? Does it take a period of time before you can access it?
Not at all.
Okay.
I could have flown in the plane, broken my toe, and went to the hospital that same day, and it's free.
Wow.
For more major things, say you get cancer, skin cancer,
Yeah.
lymphomas, or there are specialty hospitals, and you'll pay a little bit more. But again, the hospital here, they're really working on the infrastructure for bringing expats and people from other countries in. And that's one of the things that they're really trying to build up here are hospitals, the roads, access, and they're doing a great job. Might not be as fast as what would happen in the United States, but it is their goal of Nicaragua to bring up-to-date healthcare, up-to-date hospitals, doctors that are actually trained and know how to deal with diseases and injuries. And
Okay. That's what it's all about. I got one more question for you. If you had to sum it up of the all in for the pensioners, the people that are considering moving down there, they're going to be the retirees. Maybe they have a very modest pension or they're only retiring on Social Security, so they don't have a lot of money. All in living where you live, all in, talking rent, utilities, groceries, everything. How much would you need to live in San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua?
well, in San Juan del Sur, I would say, well, I'm living on less than $1,200 a month, and
Okay.
I am happy. You know, I take care of animals, and most of the money they eat better than I do most of the time. $1,200. 1,200
Okay.
bucks gets you beers every night, hanging out with your friends at whatever bar you like,
That includes
groceries.
going out every night, like where you can go out and hang and socialize.
I have a beer or a cocktail every night at happy hour somewhere every day,
So
just
you
because I foster, so I show off the animals. You know, so I have one or two drinks everywhere or every
you
night.
so let me just sum this up. You have a one bedroom apartment. You can walk to the beach, you can walk to town, you get to party every night, and you can do all this.
I would
You
say
can do all
enjoy
this.
myself, not party, but enjoy myself.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. I mean, you know, you're going out, you're getting your entertainment, you're socializing, and you're doing this nightly, and you can walk to the beach. You're a 7 minute walk to the beach. You can walk to town, and you can do this all for under 1,200 a month.
Under 1,200 bucks a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nicaragua is that's going to put a lot of people that Nicaragua is going to be on their list as a
See,
contender.
and that's San Juan del Sur. If you try to do this in San Ramon or say Esteli, 800, $600 a month.
Yeah.
You know, it's half the price of San Juan del Sur. San Juan del Sur is the most expensive place in all of Nicaragua.
Wow. All right. Well, Keith, Erik Starkey, and Tiano. Where's
Tiano,
Tiano? There's
Tiano and Kauai.
Tiano.
Come here, Kauai.
There's Tiano. Whoa, what a beauty.
This is my big old boy.
There they are. Put Tiano up by the video. Oh,
This is
yeah. Look at
Tiano. He is basically 6 weeks old.
he is such a handsome guy. Look at how beautiful Tiano is.
Yes, he is.
He's a beautiful Keith. Thank you so much for doing this, man. Keith, this was a fantastic talk. And I don't know a lot about Nicaragua. That's the one country I haven't been to in Central America. So I really, thank you so much for taking the time to share all this information.
Hey, anytime. I'd be glad to answer any more questions or get on your show again and hit on different topics, things around.
Yeah, for sure, man. I really appreciate you and what you're doing down there and taking care of those pups. I love it. So yeah, thanks again, buddy. And you have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, well, much blessing, man. Mucho gusto.